book of Psalms, chapter 26 and verse 2. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart.
So David said, Lord, look at me and examine me. Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity.
David did the right thing when nobody was looking. He had integrity. Go ahead.
I have trusted also in the Lord. Therefore, I shall not slide.
Go ahead.
Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart.
He said, try my reins. Try what's guiding me and what's governing me. That's what the Lord is looking at. A man is not able to see what is your motive behind things. That's what reins are. Reins control a horse. They move a horse in a direction. So what David was saying, I want the Lord to examine what's guiding me and what's moving me. Is your love for the brotherhood fake? Are you doing it because you want to rank? Because you want a position? Because you want to do something, not get yelled at, maybe a sister doing the office and she don't want her husband to be mad? The Lord is looking at all that.
Can't be lukewarm, gotta pick a side. Who am I?
Hey, Shalom family, Most High in Christ bless. Officer Jadiel here in San Diego. We're going to jump right into it. Cameraman get a day off. He ain't got to turn the camera. You know? All right. We're going to start at 2 Peter 3 and verse 1. So the topic today is love the brotherhood. Love the brotherhood. When you look at the world, right, or just us coming out of the world, brotherhood isn't taught, right? Unity isn't really taught. You know, you might come in the truth, you think you understand this, but sometimes we got to really reflect on what does brotherhood look like? What does unity look like? And all these scriptures are going to apply to multiple areas of your life as we go through them today. So we need to really meditate on the fact that we've been destroyed as a people, right? Unity has been taken away from us. The ideas we have around being collaborative or working together, those are not things that we're taught. You know, we've been taught to be disjointed and to basically serve our own selves, right? Serve our own self-interest. So let's read 2 Peter 3 and verse 1.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words.
Turn on my game. All right, read it one more time from the top.
The second epistle, behold, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by the way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior.
So Peter's goal was to get us to remember what we have been taught about the law, statutes, and commandments. When you go into this Bible, that's the intent, right? It's to get you back to the old way. The world has taught you a new way that is against God. So many times people are trying to do something new or do something different. So even when it comes to building relationships, you might have read self-help books. You might have watched videos on how to create great relationships. But we never went to the Bible and really focused on how do I create brotherhood? How do I create that relationship with my wife? How do I create that relationship with my sister? So on and so forth, right? With your children. We don't understand brotherhood the way we should. So when Peter was writing these things, he was writing them with the intent of making them reflect on what was said aforetime. And that's what we go through these classes to do, to make us reflect on the things that happened before so we could go back to those ways and get out of the new things on the earth. Go ahead.
Knowing this, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts.
So in the last days, you have scoffers that are going to walk after their own lusts. In their mind, they're going to say everything is all right. You know, I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't care about love. I don't care about relationships. It's about me getting my money, right? It's not about dealing with the people correct. It's not about healing each other. It's not about caring about my brother's issues. It's not about none of that. It's about me getting money and taking care of myself. And as long as I do that, I'm going to be straight. That's what we've been taught as a people. So there's many scoffers that go against what you're doing when you say, hey, man, I go to the Sabbath. I'm trying to create unity. I study so that I can help another brother out. That is not the mindset of the world. Go ahead.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
It's phrases like another day, another dollar that we just got in our mind, right? Where we don't think about, hey, how do I help somebody else today? How do I use my time on earth to help the next brother, help the next sister? Nah, it's another day, another dollar. So there's people like that who say, hey, everything continues as it's been since the creation of the earth. Nothing's going to happen. Christ ain't going to return. Why are you worried about that, man? Just get your money and get out the way. So give me 1 Peter 1 and verse 10 real quick. 1 Peter 1 and verse 10.
There's the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Sorry, 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. You got it so fast because I called the wrong thing. 1 Peter 1 and verse 10. So we're going to look at that. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10, sorry. I keep saying the wrong thing. I want to go there and I want to look at this verse.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Because at the church of Corinth, there was something that we see in much of the black community today, right? Read that.
Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you.
So the Bible says that he beseeched them, he urged them that they would all speak the same thing and that there be no divisions among them. It was very important for the people to not have division among them. When you look at the Christian church today, there's division among the people. The people don't work together. They don't have the same mindset. They don't have the same judgments on different things. You hear it on Clubhouse every night. One Christian might come in the room and say one thing. The next Christian comes behind them and says a completely different thing. Just look at it. Look how many different denominations there are. Look how many different churches there are. Look how many sects there are of Islam and so on and so forth. All of that is division amongst our people, right? Go ahead.
But that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
Read.
For it had been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by them which are of the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you.
So when Paul left and departed, Chloe told them that there was contention among the people, right? And it was a great class that Bishop did on this. I'm just touching this verse because the contentions among them show you what? They had certain things in their mind that were not of the Bible. And those things created a division. As soon as Paul dipped and he left out, then the contention started to come in. This man fighting for his spot. This man feel this way about this. It's because they stopped applying what they were taught. It's because they stopped going into the Bible to learn what brotherhood looked like. So that's what we're going to dig in today. These basic things, they may look like, hey, they don't matter, but it's very important because these men have been taught by Paul for over a year, and then as soon as he left, Chloe's telling on them, hey, man, they got division among them, right? 1 Peter 2 and verse 17. So we got to really examine what does it mean to love the brotherhood. So now we're going to 1 Peter 2 and 17. Let's read that.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 17. Honor of men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king.
So that's the point, right? The scriptures say to love the brotherhood. But many of us don't know what brotherhood looks like. For some people, brotherhood was you getting beat up. After you got beat up, they gave you a hug after they jumped you in the game. For other people, it was when you shot somebody, they gave you love. For some people, brotherhood looked like I shot the basketball, it went in a hoop, and then everybody loved me for that. You kicked the soccer ball in the goal. That was brotherhood, right? Somebody gave you an extra piece of chicken. That was brotherhood. But there's layers to brotherhood in the Bible. It ain't just these things I'm talking about where, hey, I get a little pat on the back and that's it. You know, because some of y'all, the second you got in friction with anybody, you don't even talk to that person no more. It's people you had one argument with in your life, and you have no relationship with that person no more over one argument. These are things we got to examine about ourselves, especially as we come into the truth and say, hold on, wait, do I really know what brotherhood looks like? Because in the past, I really haven't used that. I dealt with people when it served my best interest. Whenever they fit into what I like to do and the way I wanted to be, then I was okay with them. But when they didn't fit into what I liked and the way I wanted to be, I cut them off. I let them go. Psalms 82 and verse 5, right? I never tried to work with them. I never tried to create a relationship. I never tried to do anything to get them to change their behavior. Nah, it was cut off time from the beginning. That's how many of us grew up. That's why some of your favorite aunts and uncles don't come around no more. Because your dad, every time your dad see his brother, they argue at the house. They pull up to the house, it'd be a family function, then they start arguing, then you got to go to the house. You're like, dang, I can't even play with my cousin. What's wrong with y'all? Psalms 82 and verse 5.
There's the book of Psalms, chapter 82 and verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
So we think things are normal that way, coming in. We say, hey, it's normal for you to have friction and not really want to deal with people and not talk to them no more. But the earth has been turned upside down. Our enemies have gotten a hold of the entire earth and they've turned it upside down. They've changed your way of thinking. So what you think to be proper thinking is upside down. You have to acknowledge that fact. Read that verse one more time.
They know not.
They know not, meaning you don't understand what's going on. So coming into the truth, you think you understand what brotherhood or a good relationship looks like. So you take what you've learned in the world and you apply that to a relationship. But you don't know how to have a good relationship. You don't know how to have brotherhood. So you know not. Go ahead.
Neither will they understand.
Neither do you care to come out of the way that you think and create something better. You say to yourself, I get how it works. I understand how it operates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the scriptures, I'm going to put them with my understanding that I got from the world, and I'm going to see how far it goes. And it doesn't work out that way. You have to actually reshape your mind because of the next part. Watch what it says.
They walk on in darkness.
Uh-huh.
All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
The earth is not moving the way that it should. It's upside down. So in order to get it right side up, you got to change your thinking. Everything got to be reversed. You can't take some of what you got from the world and put it on top of the Bible and then be good. No, if it don't filter through the scriptures exactly, then it ain't right. Keep reading.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes.
The reason we die like men is because we're out of course. Because we're not walking right. Because we don't know how to support each other. If a brother's sinning, you let him sin. Hey, man, that ain't my business. I know he cheated on his wife, but that ain't my business. Yeah, I go to the church, and I know thou shalt not commit adultery, but I ain't going to say nothing to him. That ain't my business. He ain't taking care of his kids. I ain't really going to say nothing to him. Now, if we really had brotherhood in our community, it wouldn't be no brothers with baby mamas. If we really had brotherhood, because we would be stopping stuff like that. You about to go who house tonight? You about to do what? Nah, chill. Don't do that. Because if you get the sister pregnant, we already know you don't like her. You done told us 15 times. You told us you don't like her. But you going over there because she's offering box. These are things where we don't really check each other as men in the community. We don't really have brotherhood. We got a covering of brotherhood, and it looks like it, but it ain't really what the Bible's talking about when it comes to brotherhood. Give me Matthew 24 and verse 12. So we gotta examine these things about ourselves and say, did I ever really learn brotherhood? Who really sat me down? Who really showed me an example of what it was to create unity? Matthew 24 and verse 12.
There's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
We all grew up in sin, right? So when it's saying iniquity shall abound, right? Give me Psalms 51 and verse 3 real quick. It's saying iniquity shall abound, right? Just to prove what iniquity is. Saying because iniquity shall abound, meaning it's everywhere. No matter where you look, you see iniquity. You got it? Read.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 3. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me.
So iniquity is sin. That's what he's saying. So when we go back to Matthew 24 and verse 12, he's saying iniquity is sin. So read that.
There's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity...
Because sin, go ahead.
Shall abound.
Because sin is everywhere. No matter where you look on your TV, it's grown men with Adam's apples, 6'3", talking about, hey, my name is Sister Shirley. No, you're not Sister Shirley. You're Brother Charles. But the world tells you got to accept that. There's men cheating on their wives all over the internet. Every show you watch on TV, there's interracial marriage, but God is against that. There's homosexuality running rampant throughout the earth. Bad diets. Everything you look at, man, we got the new pork rib for $4.99. Sin is everywhere. So because that sin is everywhere, you've grown numb to how you should be. You've grown numb to it. Read it again.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Think about it. What show don't you watch where somebody get betrayed? You expect it in most shows. Yo, somebody going to do somebody dirty in this show. I'm just waiting to figure out who's going to do the main character dirty. You ain't never watched a show on TV where it's like, man, they really all looking out for each other. You waiting for the drama. That's what they do. They build it up. Then there's a point where the main characters fall out, they hate each other, and then they come back together in the end. You're like, oh, that's how the story go. And in the other stories, they might kill each other. One of them get knocked off. And then you're like, okay, this is a pretty good movie. Now, not to say that's not going to happen when you think about brotherhood, but where do you see the reconciliation or the dealing with each other or really building each other up as men in movies? You don't see that. You don't see blacks and Hispanics building each other up. You see them wearing flags, gang banging, killing each other. That's what many of us grew up on. So now when we come into the truth, we got that in our head. And so now what has happened? Read that end of that verse.
The love of many shall wax cold.
Now love don't exist, right? Give me that Willie Lynch letter real quick. This is a last minute edition. But I really want to look at this because this came to my mind when we think about it. It says, because that sin is everywhere, the love of many will wax cold. Shalom. Hey, bruh. Hey, sis. You've been watching for a whole 15 minutes. You still ain't subscribed yet? Go ahead and hit that button down at the bottom of the page. All right, I'm going to shut my black lips. You get back to the class. Most High in Christ bless.
William Lynch, The Untold Story.
For the record, Issachar, you black. All the Northern Kingdom, you black. So this applies to you too. Go ahead.
I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger.
So I make them bigger. How do they make them bigger? Go ahead, watch.
I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes.
Think about Instagram and what it does. It creates envy. You sitting on your couch. You don't drive that car, but you scroll on your timeline. You're like, dang, there go that Ford Mustang again. There go again. There go another dude driving it. Dang, he looked just like me. He driving it. You start getting envious. You say, man, you know what I got to go do? I got to go work harder so I can get me a Ford Mustang. I need that house. I need what that brother got. It creates envy, right? It creates fear. You're like, dang, I ain't really got what that brother got. I'm not solid like he's solid, right? Go ahead.
These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies and it will work throughout the South.
He was enslaving Benjamin, the damn devil. Go ahead.
Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of the list is age.
They also use age, right? You got the young man with the older man. There's a distrust there. There ain't no older men building up the younger men. There ain't no younger men willing to listen. You got friction there. Go ahead.
But it is there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade.
Man, she's light-skinned. He's dark-skinned. There's arguments about all of this, right? Go ahead.
There's intelligence.
Top class and bottom class. You go to school, some of you get in the top class. When you get in the top class, you're like, I don't really kick it with them dudes. They dumb. They in the bottom class. They ain't doing good in school. Go ahead.
Size.
You short. You a midget. You tall. You goofy. We heard all these things growing up. Go ahead.
Sex.
Man, you a woman. You weak. Don't talk to me, woman. Don't talk to me. Females is crazy. Men is this. And then you got this feminism, so on and so forth. This is all creating division. Go ahead.
Size plantations.
Yep.
Status on plantation.
Right, meaning the slave quarters you live in, right? The size of the plantation. You got a house you pay taxes on. I got a house I pay taxes on, I pay rent on. You think yours is better because it got an extra bedroom. We still all slaves. We still all paying taxes. Go ahead.
Attitude of owners.
Go ahead.
Whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east.
Whether you live in Southeast San Diego, right, for a reference, y'all might know what the hell I'm talking about. But Southeast San Diego's the hood. Or La Jolla, right? La Jolla is the nicer part of San Diego. This creates division. Where you stay, go ahead.
East
side.
west
Side.
north
Side.
south
Side. This is the stuff we argue about. I'm from the south side. You from the west side. Let's kill each other. Go ahead.
have fine hair.
Your hair is like white people here. You got white people here. Go ahead.
Coarse hair.
Man, your hair is nappy. You got nigga naps. Go ahead.
Or is tall or short.
This is all things that break up brotherhood. Go ahead.
Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration.
So what he said is, what's more powerful than them trusting each other is my ability to make them distrust each other. And that right there is the root of why we don't got brotherhood, right? So let's go back to the Bible. Let's go to 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1. So that's what's being done to us. Instagram, TikTok, movies we watch, all of it is designed to continue the distrust. That's why you got words like frenemies. You watch, what's that movie, man, with Al Pacino? Scarface. His friend turned on him. That's a classic, right? You grew up in the hood. You like, man, I love Scarface, but his man's turned on him. That's how your brain works. Your brain is like, my friend is going to turn on me. We're going to 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1 now.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Why are men lovers of their own self? Because they've been told the qualities that they have are better than the qualities of somebody else. You ain't been told, when I wash dishes, man, I'm too tall to be washing dishes, my brothers. I wash them. I'm too damn tall, man. The sinks is low. You know what I'm saying? My back start hurting. You know? But we got to work together. I know you can't grab nothing off that top shelf. I got you. I got you. I know the top shelf too high in the store. I got you. But that thing on the bottom, I ain't really trying to bend down there. I got to squat. It hurt. You know what I'm saying? Brother's looking at me crazy on the side right here. but the point I'm making is we all got gifts. You see what I'm saying? We all have gifts, but we've been taught, hey, your thing is more important. So men have become lovers of their own self. They become lovers of their status, of their job, or the money that they have. Go ahead.
Covetous, boosters,
boasters. Yep.
proud,
Yep.
blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection,
Mm-hmm.
truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce,
Fierce, right? Meaning that they're willing to kill their own brother over the hatred that they have, over that division. Go ahead.
despisers of those that are good.
They hate people that are actually looking out for them. How many people grew up and when the dude in the hood was like, hey, man, y'all stop doing that. Y'all be like, man, shut up, old man. That's what was happening in my neighborhood. The old man be trying to look out for you, right? Somebody in the neighborhood trying to look out for you, be like, man, shut up. We about to go do this bad, and we going to figure out how it go. We're going to keep throwing these rocks. We're going to keep doing that. And when something bad happened and you running, you got to deal with your parents, you all in trouble, but you could have just listened to the man that tried to save your life, that tried to help you out. But that's the level of division that we have in our community. Go ahead.
Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
We love all these pleasures and all these things we have more than God, more than each other. That's what we got to understand. That's what we've been taught. We've been taught to love everything about ourselves and everything that we own and have, but not to look to your left or your right and have that same level of care for your brothers and sisters around you. We ain't been taught that. So coming to truth, we got to learn that. It may seem like a simple thing. You may say, I do love my brother or my sister, but do you love the brethren? Do you love the brotherhood? That's what you got to really ask yourself. You ain't never been taught really how to have brotherhood through thick and thin. You ain't really been taught that. Go to 2 John 6. So what is love according to God?
There's the book of 2 John,
That's
verse
it.
6.
Go ahead.
And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it.
So this is love, that we keep God's commandments. And the commandments are the things that we got in the beginning. Going back to the point originally, we got to go back to the laws. Right now, we think we go into something new. No. We need to return to what we used to do. We got to get it out of our mind that we're going to make something new up, and that's going to create brotherhood. No, the first thing we have to do is humble ourselves and say, it's something we forgot. It's something we got to go back to. We ain't making nothing new up. We got to humble ourselves and say, yo, we strayed far away from what it is we need to do and return to it. Read 1 John 5:3. And when we start to understand, okay, the love of God is keeping his commandments, then we start learning how to deal with each other, right? We're going to read a couple scriptures that say that. Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
And his commandments are not grievous, right? It's not hard to love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's not difficult. But we haven't been taught that. We haven't been taught what not to eat. We haven't been taught how to carry ourselves in certain conversations, how to be civil with one another, how to judge matters. We ain't been taught these things. We've been taught to continue a cycle of division and distrust. That's what we've been taught. So we don't know how to work together whenever a problem arises. We don't know how to have conversations with one another. We don't know the love of God, right? Give me 1 John 4:7. I didn't have this written down, but this is what Christians love to say, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 4 and verse 7. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and every one that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God.
So you knoweth God if you keep his commandments. Love is of God. Yeah, the keeping of God's laws is of God. He taught us how to deal right with each other. The devil taught us how to hate each other. We just read it. The devil's job was to come and make you believe this is what love is. Hey, you should smash her outside of wedlock. Buy her some roses on Valentine's Day, right? Get her something for her birthday and get her a Christmas present. And then you tell her you love her. But you hate her. You hate her. You want to leave her. You looking at other women online. You watching porn. You don't really want to be with her. You've been taught hate. But in your mind, hey, I love her. You know why? Because maybe I went to the courthouse. Maybe I got a little spot with her. Maybe I buy her stuff. No. You haven't been taught what love is. You haven't been taught what love is. Yo, I hang around my brother, but meanwhile, you thinking like, man, this dude is plotting on me. I gotta watch him because he plotting on me. I keep him close, but he might be my enemy for real. That ain't love. That ain't the love of God. God said you got to love one another. You got to deal with one another. Christ knew men were plotting on him, and he kept them in a circle and gave them an opportunity to repent. That's what he did. He said, one of y'all going to betray me. Now, Judas was meant to do what he did, but the point is Christ knew that brother was going to be evil. He gave him an opportunity to repent. Judas had spiritual power. He didn't go and kill him. He didn't knock him off. He didn't do anything malicious to him, knowing who he was. These are things we got to really dig into, right? Give me John 14:15.
There's the book of John, chapter 14, verse 15.
You know I was going there or something? Go ahead.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
Yep, that's simple. If you love God, you will keep his commandments. If you got the love of God in you, because we just read God is love, you would keep his commandments. You would deal with your brother right. You would apply these laws that teach you, like not committing adultery. That has to do with loving your neighbor as you love yourself. That's what I got to do with when you don't sleep with somebody else's wife. When you love your parents, right? Honor thy father and thy mother. All these things are the love of God. They create unity. These things create unity. They create brotherhood, not being covetous at what another brother got. But what we've been taught is fear and distrust and how to hate each other and how to be fake. That's what we've been taught. We ain't been taught how to really work together. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 17. Remember, we going into love, right? Love in the Bible.
There's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 17.
Yep.
For the very true beginning of her is the desire of disciple, discipline.
Discipline, right? The very true desire of her, meaning wisdom, is discipline. Go ahead.
And the care of discipline is love.
To care about your discipline, that's love, right? To care about, you know what? Let me not go deal with that brother wife. I'm going to discipline myself and stop myself. I'm not going to be covetous. I'm not going to bear false witness on this brother. This brother might have lied on me or did something to me. I'm not going to try to get him back. I'm not going to try to not listen to my parents because everybody else in the neighborhood is doing that. They don't listen to their parents, or everybody else in the school is doing that. No. In my mind, I'm going to apply the law. I'm going to have discipline. Go ahead.
And love is the keeping of her laws.
Yep.
And the giving heed unto the law, unto her laws, is as the assurance of incorruption.
To give heed unto the laws of God makes sure that you are incorrupt, right? Meaning that you can become perfect. Go ahead.
And incorruption maketh us near unto God.
So when we start to have that ability to be disciplined in the laws of God, then we could actually show love. And it changes us. It makes sure that we're not corrupt. Because right now we corrupt. We got to continue to look at ourselves. No matter how long you've been in the truth, you got to understand these basic things that you may say, oh, I already understand it. Do you? Do you understand it to the level that you can do? This simple thing we're reading about the level of discipline you got to have, or the discipline of loving your neighbor as you love yourself, or loving the brotherhood. It goes deeper and deeper as you go on. Right now, for some of you, it may be just, hey, I go to the Sabbath and I shalom everybody and smile. But there's going to be more that comes upon you, right? There's 3 trials of faith, and one of them is congregational. You're going to have to deal with more amongst the congregation. You're going to have to deal with more with your wife. And personally, you got to deal with stuff as well. So let's go to Leviticus 19 and 15. Let's start there, right? Because you may read the word brother now. So we know what love is. We know love is the keeping of God's commandments, but you may think brother means everybody in the world, right? Brother in Christ. I know a lot of brothers in here had brothers in Christ till they left that church. I ain't going to point no fingers or look over there. They might, I'm trying to not create distrust. Give me Leviticus 19 and verse 15.
There's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
We started here because what? It says you're not supposed to have respect of persons in your judgment. You're supposed to judge your neighbor, meaning your brother, right next to you, the people that live amongst you, the Israelites. That's what it's referring to, right? We're going to read down and we'll see that. You're not supposed to have respect of persons amongst them, no matter their rank, no matter their title. If they're doing something wrong, you're supposed to let them know. That is the love of God. That's what the love of God say. Said if you love me, you will keep my commandments, meaning what? You're going to deal with your brother right. You're going to say, regardless of the rank he's at, regardless of where he's at, I'm going to go and I'm going to have this conversation. I'm going to deal with him the right way. Because that is important for his growth as much as it is for you. Because all of us that come into the truth, that understand these laws, we are the judges of the earth. Give me Job 9 and verse 24 real quick so I can prove that. Every brother that comes in here that understands the laws of God, you are a judge on the earth. So when you see things that should be judged, you cannot hold on to those matters and say, I'm not going to say anything. And we'll dig into that again later, but I want to touch it now. Read that.
This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
The faces of the judges, meaning the Israelites, has been covered. You've been lied to about your nationality and how you deal with each other, how you have brotherhood. That's been covered from you. You don't know your heritage. Go ahead.
If not, where and who is he?
All right, jump back. So now a judge, when he sees something, he must make a what? Judgment. Leviticus 19 and 15, one more time.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
Read.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people.
Among who?
Among thy people.
See, the context of all of this is thy people. As we continue to read. Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord.
So you shouldn't go up and down lying on your neighbor, plotting on him, trying to get him killed. That shouldn't be your mindset, trying to get him knocked off. That's the mindset we learned in the world. The reason God had to make laws like this is because he knew we was going to be niggas. He had to make this because these are the things we are learning from Egypt, just like we learning them in America today. America, give me a Revelation 11. That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to go all over the place because I got all that stuff in my head. Revelation 11. We're learning the same things that God had to get us out of coming out of Egypt.
Oh, you. Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ blessed. Hebrews chapter 10 and 25 said, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves as a manner of some is, but exhorting one another. And so much more as we see the day approaching. Come on down to La Mesa, California, 7254 University Avenue, and come get some of this good news you can use. Shalom.
Revelation 11 and verse 8. We got to come out of this. In Egypt, we learn hate each other, kill each other, fight. That's what Moses had to stop. Moses had to stop two people from fighting each other. When he stopped them, he said, what you going to do, kill us too? This is the mindset that we had as a people, was to fight each other rather than resolve conflict. Read that.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 8. And their bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
This place is full of homosexuality and false doctrine and lies, false brotherhood. You think the president and vice president really like each other? You think Congress is really friends? They deal with each other because they got a end goal together, but they all plotting on each other all day. That's what you're taught in business. Yo, try to get the leverage or the one up on this person. Anybody that negotiates anything for work, you understand what I'm saying. The whole point of having any type of relationship is so you can create leverage, so you can get what you want out the deal. That's what everybody's doing all over. When you go to buy a car, that's what's happening. When you go into the store and you say, hey, man, is there a coupon or whatever? You think you're getting it. This is what I was telling brothers when we went somewhere else. I said, you know why they got a 99-cent store? Because they still make profit. You think they're giving you a deal. This world is full of lies. This is a false world. That thing don't cost $1 to make. That's why they can sell it to you for $1, because they still make profit. Don't nobody sell nothing that they can't make profit on. So you think you're getting a deal in a dollar store, and that thing really cost them 10 cents to make. They came up. They made a whole 90 cents off of you. Cost them 3 cents to make, 5 cents to make. You thought you came up. Nah. And then they go and they sell that same thing in another store for 5 times the price. The same brand. And you buy it for more. That's what anything you see in a dollar store and you see in a regular store, you should think about that. That's a side note, right? So this place of Egypt has taught us many lies about how we deal with each other. Many lies, right? And so coming out of Egypt, coming out of America, we got to learn how we behave and how we deal with each other again. So go back to Leviticus 19 and verse 16. Watch.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
The Bible says you're not supposed to hate your brother in your mind. But where have we learned not to hate a brother in our mind? Where have we learned not to suffer sin upon a brother? You learning it now. You might have been learning for 6 months, a year, 7 years, 8 years. But think about it. You got 20-something years competing with that 7 years or that 1 year or 30-something years or 40-something years or 50-something years. You think you really know how to love people yet? You got 50 years. When a brother do something that you feel like in the world I would have cut him off for, is your first reaction going to be, let me go in the Bible? You got to train yourself now so you think that way, because Egypt taught you, yo, just knock him out. Just not deal with him. Have a grudge. If you see him in sin, don't say nothing. Because verse 15 told you, hey, if you see something going on wrong with that brother, you're supposed to make a judgment, whether he be the great person, whether he be the person on the bottom. But now we get to verse 17, and you might say, you know what, I'm not going to say nothing to him. I'm kind of mad at him. I don't like what he did that much that I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let the Lord kill him for the way he's behaving. Keep reading.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
We don't know this. We think we know not to have a grudge with each other. That's why brothers and sisters had a wife or a husband in the house, they ain't talking for days. Because the world ain't teach you not to have a grudge. You think you just learned that? Your parents taught you that. You did that in the world. You walked around, you might be mad at somebody, you walk right past them in school. Walk right past them at work. I ain't going to say nothing to them. That is how you've been taught in Egypt to behave. That type of behavior creates the violence. It creates the distrust. It creates the friction that we see, the division that we talked about in the beginning, the contentions. All these words that is created because what? We don't know how to speak to each other. We don't know how to resolve conflict. That's why the Lord had to give us laws coming out of Egypt to say, this is how you love the brotherhood. This is how you love one another. You don't know how, because when the friction come, y'all ain't gonna talk to each other. Y'all finna throw hands or avoid each other completely. And how we supposed to build a nation if we can't do these simple things? Go ahead.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
That is the point. We got to learn to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. But what if you've been taught hatred? What if all you've been taught is hatred? What are you going to give out? That's why this is something you got to examine. When it comes to loving the brotherhood, it's about you loving yourself. Loving yourself to the extent of what? Applying the laws in your own life, having that discipline in your own life. And then you take that and you say, dang, I see that brother going off in this law. Let me show him how to love. Now I'm not going to hold it back because maybe he got a higher rank than me, or maybe because he's a brother that got less rank than me, right? Now I'm going to go have that conversation with him. I'm going to go talk to him. Maybe he got more money than you, less money than you. I'm going to still go talk to him. You know why? Because at the end of the day, we all came in here as brothers. Didn't nobody come in here with a rank. You came in here as a brother. And as a brother, you are learning how to love each other, love the brotherhood. So you always got to remember that no matter how high you see somebody on the totem pole, they start off as your brother. Give me Psalms 26 and verse 2. So we always got to reflect on that. We got to say, man, am I right? Because the Lord is looking at us. The Lord is looking at us mentally, and he's saying, man, does this brother actually love my people? I always say to people, when we get to the kingdom, it's just going to be us. It's just going to be the Israelites. So now if you can't deal with the Israelites now, what's going to happen when you get to the kingdom? You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be in the kingdom like, damn, I can't get away from these niggas. I don't really like them. I never really learned how to deal with them. All I was ever taught was Willie Lynch and distrust and hate him because he's small or tall, or the sister got a bigger head wrap, right? Or the sister's head wrap too small, or I don't like the shoes she wear. I don't like how she smell. I don't like how that brother talk to people. I don't like how he do this. I don't like that. I don't like that. Man, I need to, instead of building with them. So the Lord is examining that constantly and saying, hey, if you can't fix those problems or get that out of your spirit, how are you going to get to my kingdom where you got to work together for eternity? Psalms 26 and 2.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 26 and verse 2. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart.
So David said, Lord, look at me and examine me. Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity.
David did the right thing when nobody was looking. He had integrity. Go ahead.
I have trusted also in the Lord. Therefore, I shall not slide.
Go ahead.
Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart.
He said, try my reins. Try what's guiding me and what's governing me. That's what the Lord is looking at. A man is not able to see what is your motive behind things. That's what reins are. Reins control a horse. They move a horse in a direction. So what David was saying, I want the Lord to examine what's guiding me and what's moving me. Is your love for the brotherhood fake? Are you doing it because you want a rank? Because you want a position? Because you want to do something, not get yelled at, maybe a sister doing the office because she don't want her husband to be mad? The Lord is looking at all that. Do you actually have true brotherhood, true sisterhood? Are you in here? And that's something we all got to examine. We have to constantly examine it. We can't just say, hey, I know the scriptures on brotherhood. No. If you're not applying Leviticus 19:15 all the way down, you don't have brotherhood. Not the way you think you do. Because if you are applying that, then you can say, I have proper motives. You know what my motives are? They're serving God. Because God told me to do this and I do it. But if I'm not doing it, if I'm not learning how to do it, if I'm not getting better at doing these things, then what is my motive truly? Is it to serve God, or is it to serve my own self-interest? Is it to serve whatever I desire, whatever vain, glorious benefits I can get? This is what we constantly have to examine. Do we love the brotherhood? Give me Acts 24 and verse 16. This is why Paul said this. We must look at these things. The Lord is measuring us. He's saying, man, I can't put nobody in the kingdom that don't love my people. That wouldn't even make sense. Christ died for his people. He's going to be the king of in the kingdom, right? And you get into his kingdom and you don't really even like your people. That makes no sense. Read that.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 24 and verse 6.
16.
Verse 16. And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense towards God and towards men.
This is what Paul always thought about. I want my conscience to be clear towards God, first and foremost, and then towards men. Meaning I haven't done anything evil. I'm not doing anything to purposely do you wrong, but we all have to examine that. You may think you don't got evil intent. You may think you're moving in the right spirit, but really sit back and listen to your reasoning behind things. Listen to how you move. And then ask yourself, where the Bible say that at? Where does the Bible say what you thought of? If it don't say it, then you have to check yourself, because what's guiding you? What is your reign? Because that's what the Lord is examining, right? We just read that. The Lord is examining your reins and your heart, what you're thinking and what's governing you. If your own thoughts are governing you, that's a problem. If God told you, love your neighbors, you love yourself, but then you say, hey, man, it is what it is. I'm going to treat that brother like that regardless of the fact. I'm going to deal with this brother like this regardless of the fact, because this is just how I am. This is how I move. This is the way I'm going to be. But that brother on the other side, if you were him, you wouldn't want to be treated like that. Well, you don't love your neighbors, you love yourself. It's something you got to examine constantly and say, do I love the brotherhood? That's the conversations you got to have with yourself. Give me Romans 11 and verse 1. Let's read that.
There's the book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 1. I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
So we know Paul was a Benjamite, right? I want to read that because I love it. Now jump over to 10 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
You know, he was from the tribe of Benjamin. Go ahead.
Let their eyes be darkened.
10 and 1. 10. Now, Paul the Benjamite, this was his thought process, right? And I read that so you can know what nation was he from when he was saying this in Romans 10 and 1. Watch.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved.
This is how he thought. My mind's desire is that Israel might be saved, that they can get from under their oppressor. Can you have that mindset if all you're thinking about is yourself? Nah. We read about Paul and we see he was focused on, how do I help the people? How do I help these people? How do I get the people to the kingdom? How do I create an environment where there is no schism, where there is no division, where there is brotherhood? Because they're coming out of these places where they've been taught, hate each other, don't work together. Go to Acts 20, and we're going to start at verse 25. Look, these are things that were happening. We're going to read down in this chapter. Paul wanted the people to have unity. He was always concerned about that. He didn't say, yo, worry about me, everything's about me. He said, no. I got to worry about you and what's going to happen to you all, where your mind is going to be. Are you going to have unity? Read that.
There's the book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 25. And now, behold, I know that ye all, among whom I have gone preaching the kingdom of God, shall see my face no more.
So he's telling them, you're no longer going to see me. I'm about to depart for good. Go ahead.
Wherefore I take you to record this day, that I am pure from the blood of all men.
Meaning what? I've given you everything I can give you. I'm blameless. I have a conscience that is not guilty. Go ahead.
For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of God. Take heed therefore unto yourselves, and to all the flock over the which the Holy Ghost had made your overseers, to feed the church of God, which he had purchased with his own blood.
He said, take heed, pay attention to the people that you're over as a leader. Pay attention to the flock. Go ahead.
For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock.
So what he's telling you is, I've taught you unity, I've taught you brotherhood, but there's going to be people who come in and they try to break that up. They try to create division among you. They try to create hatred among you, distrust, try to break you away from the laws of God. Go ahead.
Also of your own selves shall men arise.
He's saying even within you, the men that I've taught, some of you got the devil on you. Some of you don't love the brotherhood. Some of you, your goal is to break up what God is trying to establish. Go ahead.
Speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them.
To get men to follow them. Hey, man, I could do that better. If you listen to me, I could fix this situation. These are the types of men that are going to be in the body. Go ahead.
Therefore, watch and remember that by the space of 3 years I cease not to warn everyone night and day with tears.
You think he could warn them night and day with tears if he didn't give a damn about them? If he didn't love the brotherhood? He had to love the brotherhood to not cease for 3 years warning them night and day about what was going to happen. That means he cared for his people. You got to love the brotherhood on this level. Do we love the brotherhood on this level where night and day you dealing with your brother? You trying to save him? You trying to make sure he's not afflicted, your sister, right? Are we doing that? Because this is the level of love that the prophets had for their people. This is how they thought. They weren't like, oh, man, I'm too tired. I'm not going to hit that brother up. I'm not going to check on him. He'll be all right. The scriptures say, give me Hebrews 3 and 13. This is what the Bible says. These are things we got to examine about ourselves. We ain't been taught that. In the world, you had your homeboy. You hit him up every day to play 2K. You hit him up every day to smoke a blunt, go to the party. But you ain't hit him up to check on his soul. Hebrews 3 and 13.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 3 and verse 13. But exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
He said you have to exhort each other daily, except a brother be hardened through sin. Except the world get him. So now that is the love of God. That is loving the brotherhood. But we ain't learned that. We ain't learned that in the world. We learn, yo, hit him up when it serves my interest. Yo, you got the bottle? Yo, where the women at? This is the mindset we had. Yo, you going to come pick me up in the car? I'm going to drive my car. We hit each other up when it benefited us. Not when it was true love and checking on each other. That didn't happen. How many people, right now you're in the truth, how many people call you yesterday that you know from the world and said, let me check on your soul? Think about it. How many people call you this is just something for you to reflect on. How many people call you in the last month and said, let me check on your soul? But the brothers and sisters in the body, that's what they're doing for you. So why would you have a schism with them? Why would you have hatred with them? Yeah, they ain't doing it right all the time. But guess what? That is their goal. Their goal is to check on your soul and make sure you're good. Your own mama don't do that. Your own mama don't check on you every day. Your dad don't check on you every day. But you got a problem with the people around you who are trying to keep the laws of God and actually show you love. It tells you about the distrust that you have in yourself. It tells you that you haven't learned to love the brotherhood the proper way. Jump back to where we was. We're going to read verse 32, and then we're going to Romans 12.
There's the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 32. And now, brethren, I command you to God and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and to give you an inheritance among all them which are sanctified.
So he told them, grievous wolves are going to enter, and I need you to read the word of God. It's going to build you up. Remember the things that I taught you. Jump to Romans 12, and we're going to read verse 9. Look at this. Something else Paul said. Again, this is all about loving the brotherhood. We have to relearn what love is and what it looks like to actually have true friendship, because we don't know. We don't really know. Read.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 9. Let love be without dissimulation.
Okay, let me get that definition. That's not a Negro word. You know, you see dissimulation, you're like, what is that? They think it's a video game. You know? Think it's talking about something from Transformers. Go ahead.
Dissimulating, to disguise or conceal under a false appearance.
So dissimulation is to be false, to have a false appearance. So what he's saying here, read that verse one more time.
Let love be without dissimulation.
Let love be without a fake appearance, without a false appearance, without being fake. He said no fake love. But we've been taught that. Many of you know, right, in our community, there's much fake love. There's fake love between, so some of us know, you look at your grandparents, you be like, they just together. They don't really like each other. They just in the same house because it's cheaper. You know? You look at them, they sleep in separate rooms. They don't talk. When they do talk, they cuss each other out. Or the neighbors next door to each other. Here go Ernie. Look at the church. If you went to the Christian church, that is a prime place for fake love. Soon as you leave, you in the car, they talking about somebody in your car. Or if you sit around somebody else that's elder enough and just be standing in the close vicinity, you hear them talking about somebody else that left the church. That's all that happened in church. Read that verse again.
Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned one to another, which with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another.
We have to learn to prefer one another instead of what? Our things. The stuff we get from the world. We haven't learned that. We've learned to love our own self-interest more than God. Hebrews 10 and verse 25. It's important that we learn these things. If we don't learn these things, we can't get the kingdom of heaven. You could have all the breakdown knowledge, and we're going to read that a little bit later. You could have all the breakdown knowledge that you want. You could have all the rank and status that you want. You don't know how to love your brother? That is a problem with God. Read that.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much that more, as ye see the day approaching.
So as we see the end coming, we should be exhorting each other more and more. So think about that. If you combine that with Hebrews 3 and 13, that says reach out to your brother daily, not only do you reach out to them daily, but the closer we get, the more they're going to need you. The more they're going to need your love. The world is about to go to SHIT, right? It's about to. You might have kids watching, so I'm going to be politically correct, right? The world is about to get worse. Food is about to be short. Your jobs, you're going to start losing them. They're going to start persecuting the Israelites. And you don't even like the brother or sister next to you? You don't know how to have a conversation with them? You don't know how to build with them? You don't know nothing about them because y'all don't really talk? Y'all don't talk every day? Who are you going to stay with? Where are you going to run to? How are you going to have any sense of protection or comfort when there ain't nobody you could go to? When there isn't no school you can run to? When there is no Sabbath class every single week? Leadership says these things, but we take them for granted. We don't realize all we're going to have is each other. The buildings may go. The rank and status may go as far as the organization. But what will never go in the kingdom of God is the brotherhood. We got to establish that now. We got to understand that's the thing that cannot be broken. Read that one more time.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
All right, give me Ecclesiastes 4 and verse 8 now. So we got to really let that sink in. As we see the time approaching, there's more gathering. There's more unity that should be taking place. We should be putting emphasis on it. Ecclesiastes 4 and verse 8. Let's look at that. Because in our mind, we can do it alone. But let's see what the Bible says.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4 and verse 8. There is one alone, and there is not a second. Yea, he hath neither child nor brother.
Nor what?
Nor child nor brother.
Nor brother. Go ahead.
Yet is there no end of all his labor, neither is his eyes satisfied with riches.
He got all the money in the world, but he don't got no children. He don't got no brother. He got nobody to have his back. Go ahead.
Neither said he, for whom do I labor, and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity. Yea, it is a sore travail.
Read.
Two are better than one, because they have one good reward for their labor.
See, two are better than one, because at the end of the day, when you work, now you have someone to give it to, someone to share with, someone to work with and build a kingdom with. That's what the Lord is trying to teach us. But the world has taught us, be an individual. Take care of just yourself. Get your money. Keep working. That's why people are miserable. You see all these rich people, they miserable. They make movies about it, shows. They talk about how they jump off buildings. You got everything in the world, but you don't have no unity. Everybody around you hates you. Your wife hates you. Your kids hate you. The people at your job hate you. They just tolerate you because you got money and status. Who wants that? Who wants that? Read.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up.
He has no brotherhood, so he's going to be destroyed. He by himself. You really got to examine that. Let's keep going on. We're going to read now. Let's give me Romans 13 and verse 8. So this is how we apply love, right? That's how we apply love. We got to think about those things. The prophets they loved their people. They knew that they had to be around their people and they had to work together.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 8. Owe no man anything, but to love one another. For he that loveth another had fulfilled the law.
So if you love another, you fulfill the law. Go ahead.
For this, thou shalt not commit adultery.
If you love your brother, you ain't going to be thinking about sleeping with his wife. That ain't going to be an issue. You ain't going to be doing nothing foul to your brother that's sitting right next to you in the congregation. Because you look at this Bible and you say, you know what, I love that brother. I wouldn't want nobody to do that to my wife. I wouldn't want nobody to break up my household. I know what adultery could do to a family. Nah, I'm not doing that. I love my brother like I love myself. I love my neighbor. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not kill.
You're not going to murder your brother. You know why? Because if you murder your brother, if you do some evil, you have hatred to your brother, you got to think about what's going to happen behind my hatred. Maybe it's just hatred. It's a grudge, and eventually it turns into something. Dang, his wife got to suffer now. His kids got to suffer. Maybe his job going to suffer. Now, I'm not going to do nothing evil to him because I love him. I want to see him prosper, especially when it comes to in this world that's against him. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not steal.
Read.
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
So to love your brother is to apply the law with him, to deal with him according to the law, like we read earlier. So the prophets understood that. They understood we cannot be alone. We cannot hate our people. We got to love the brothers and we got to apply the law with each other. That is necessary in order to get the kingdom. Why didn't Paul tell them something else when he knew he wasn't going to see them no more? Why didn't he break something down? Let's go to the book of Revelation. Let me show you what's going to happen right here. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? He didn't have Revelation. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Jeremiah. I'm going to break this down for you. Let me show you some Ezekiel, some prophecy. Why did he tell them, no. Take care of the flock. Know that men are going to rise up against you and create distrust and evil. Why did he put emphasis on that? Because that was a major thing amongst them. And we need to come back to understanding that's a major thing. Give me Matthew 18 real quick. We don't understand that these things are major. We look at them and we go, oh, no, that really don't matter. That's just a little simple law. I could quote it. You know how many people say Matthew 18, but we still don't know how to apply it with each other. Matthew 18, start at 15.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
See, if you go and tell a brother his fault one-on-one, and he hears you, you've created brotherhood. That's why that had to be here. That's important to God. To God, that is a very important thing for you to create brotherhood. To be able for a brother to say, you know what, dang, that brother loved me so much. He saw an issue in me. He came to me one-on-one, and he said, yo, I see that issue on you. You got to fix that. A brother can respect that. And if he don't respect it, then you know what he is. He said, if you do that and he listens to you, you have gained a brother. You've created brotherhood in the eyes of God. Go ahead.
But if he will not hear thee,
if he don't listen, let's say you got the devil on him. Go ahead.
Then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
So now you got to bring 2 or 3 people with him. But the goal of bringing the 2 or 3 people, what? Is still to regain that brother. It's so that he doesn't go all the way off. Man, he ain't listened to me when I told him. He don't respect what I'm saying. Maybe if I bring 2 or 3 people and we all tell him the same thing, he'll see it. He'll look at it and say, you know what? I'm not right. I got to repent. Because at the end of the day, the judgment is going to be that he gets destroyed by the Lord when he returns. So if you love your brother, you're not going to allow him to walk around in that sin because you're going to say, man, destruction is coming to that brother if he don't get right. I don't want that for myself. I got to love go back to Leviticus 19 real quick and read that because that's all it's saying. This is no different than what we read in Leviticus 19, 17, and 18. It's not saying anything different. What it's giving you is the steps to applying that. Read that. When you get it, of course.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
So in Matthew 18 and 15, it says, if he trespass against you, you go and tell him his fault. That's the same thing as not suffering sin upon him. He has an issue, you have an issue with him, you go and you tell him, hey, this is what you did wrong in this situation, my brother. I'm trying to let you know, man to man, woman to woman, whatever it may be. Sister to sister, brother to brother. Hey, this is the issue. Husband to wife. You go and you have that conversation so that it can be clear. I feel like this, right? According to the scripture, of course, right? These are the things I see in the scripture that you've broken or you had a fault in. I'm showing you so that you can get right. Maybe it's how you're dealing with me. Maybe it's what I see over here and how you move. Maybe I see you being hypocritical in the area. Whatever that may be, you're supposed to go and tell a brother one-on-one. That would show you love your neighbor. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
But if you don't say anything, what happens? If I see someone and they step on my shoes or they do something I don't like and I watch them do it once, then I watch them do it twice, then I watch them do it 3 times, 4 times, what's happening in my spirit? I'm not getting happy as that goes on. I'm creating a grudge. Hatred is building in me. Distrust is building in me. Now that's going to be the spirit that I'm passing around. Yeah, I'm in the truth. I come to every Sabbath. I come to every new moon. I got an office or 2. I got 5 offices. I do national office, whatever it may be. But within me, there's bitterness. There's a root of bitterness that's growing over time. Because in the beginning, when I saw the issue, I didn't go to my brother and say, hey, I love that brother like I love myself. Or I didn't go to, if I'm a sister, I didn't go to the other sister and say, hey, I love that sister like I love myself. Let me deal with her. You didn't do that. So now you got, every time you see this person, you think back to what they did 6 weeks ago. This is what happens in a lot of marriages. All of this is relevant because this is what happens in a lot of marriages. You got a problem, you let it fester over months, over years, and then one day your wife having a conversation or you having a conversation, and now you talking about something from 3 years ago that you ain't even know was a problem because the grudge was building over time. And that's the hatred we've been taught in the world. So Matthew 18 is to prevent that from happening in our community because what that leads to is divorce, killing, fights, sisters doing grimy things to each other, brothers snaking each other. That's what it leads to when that grudge is there because now you're trying to get even. So you can get the grudge. Oh, I got him back now. I feel good. But that shouldn't be our mindset. Our mindset should be, let me just tell him at the beginning. And if he don't hear me in the beginning, I'll bring 2 or 3 witnesses. That's what God told me to do, so let me do that because I have faith in the Lord. Jump back now, Matthew 18 and verse 16. The book of Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
The book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
The Lord wasn't asking it. It's a commandment. He said, gather yourselves together. Read it again.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
The Lord said in the last days, he commands us to gather together. He said we're a nation not desired. Read that top part one more time.
Gather yourselves together.
Wait a second. You sitting on the couch. You're sitting at home. The end time's passing you by. And you ain't been to the school yet.
Come on now, dog.
You ain't hear Boozy? What Boozy just said?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. It's time for you to get down here, man. It's a shame, bro.
What the hell?
Come on, man.
Oh, my God. No way.
Look, come down to the school, 7254 University Avenue, La Mesa, California. Come keep God's commandments. What you waiting on? And if you're looking for a school in your area, visit israelunite.org/contact us and find the school closest to you. Shalom.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or more or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
Go ahead.
And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a Republican.
Right? And not a Republican.
Republican.
Not a see. He Issachar. I love him. You added a re in there. Give me Deuteronomy 1 and verse 12. If it said Republican, I'd have been like, dang. You know? There was a republic back then, but Deuteronomy 1 and verse 12. Look at this now. And we're going to read that again. Watch. Here's why. Deuteronomy 1 and 12. Because if you got a purple shirt on, you are a judge. Right? Within the body, you are a judge. All of us are judges. But you men that whole rank, you are judging matters. You are leadership. Read that. Watch.
This is book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 12. How can I myself alone bear you cumbrance and your burden and your strife?
This is what Moses said about Israel. I can't deal with all your problems by myself. Y'all like to argue and have strife and have issues. Go ahead.
Take you wise men.
He said, take ye wise men. This is what he was commanded. Take ye wise men. Go ahead.
And understanding.
Yep.
And known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you.
I'm going to create leadership Order and structure. Go ahead.
And he answered me and said, the thing which thou hadst spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes.
Read.
And I charged your judges at the time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and that the stranger that is in within.
See what he said? He said, and I charge your judges. So whether they were a captain of a 10 or officers among your tribe, right, or over 50s or over thousands, right, whatever their rank was, they were a judge. A judge looks at a matter, looks at what's going on, and they have to make judgments. That's what we read earlier, that you have to make judgments. That is important. You can't just look at, go back to Leviticus 19, I think it was verse 15. Read that. Unless you add something else. Leviticus 19 and verse 15. Look like you was going somewhere else.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter
19 and 15.
19, verse 15. Ye shall do not unrighteousness in judgment.
So that applies to you if you are a judge. You're not supposed to do unrighteousness in judgment as a judge. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
Because you are the judges of the earth, you are to judge your neighbor. That's what's supposed to happen. If you can't judge the man right next to you, how are you going to judge the other nations? That's what it's saying. You got to judge each other. Go back now, Deuteronomy 1 and verse 16. So that was required of the judges. They were supposed to judge the matters that they saw amongst them. Read verse 16 again.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 16. And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren.
Between who?
Your brethren.
Between your brothers, the brotherhood. Go ahead.
And judge righteously between every man and his brother.
And his what?
And his brother.
You have to judge your brother. If you love the brotherhood, you're going to judge the brotherhood. You're going to see issues and you're going to say, yo, bro, let me pull you to the side. That's wrong. Fix that. Handle that. Sis, hey, sis, that's wrong. You got to fix that. These are things that are going to happen. If you love your wife, you're going to do that. That's going to be the nature of your relationship, to correct each other and to get each other better, because when the Lord comes, he's not going to play with none of us. Read.
And the stranger that is with him, ye shall not respect the persons in judgments, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of men, for the judgment is God.
Whose is it?
God.
The judgment is God's. The thing you see on that brother, you have to give him the judgment. You know why? Because it's God's judgment. God taught you the understanding of his Bible. He taught you his laws and his judgments. And now that you understand his judgments, you are supposed to be giving them out. You ain't supposed to be afraid. You ain't supposed to be like, oh man, that brother got this rank, or this sister is in over the kitchen. So if I say, oh, that's this sister's married to this brother, so if I say something to her, it's gonna be a problem. Nah, that shouldn't matter. And anybody who got that spirit on them got the devil on them. Psalms 106 and verse 3. Watch this. I didn't have this written down, but think about it. Right? Think about this one.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 106 and verse 3. Blessed are they that keep judgment, and he that doth righteousness at all times.
You're blessed if you keep the judgments in your mind. That's what the Lord said. It's not wrong with keeping judgments in your mind. You know why? Because when you're keeping judgments in your mind, you apply them to yourself, you apply them to others, and then you can apply righteousness. How can you walk in the law? You're not applying no judgments. You see issues, you're like, oh, I'm going to close my eyes. If you'll close your eyes to another brother or sister doing it, eventually you'll close your eyes to yourself doing it. Eventually it won't become a problem at all. That's why we gotta again, we love our neighbors as we love ourselves. All these things that we look at as little, they show us things, big things about ourselves. When we don't correct certain behaviors, we're like, oh, that's not a big deal. But to the Lord, it is. To the Lord, that's a big deal. And I gotta help my brother get out of that, because if I don't get out of it, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna get judged. So go back. And now we're gonna let's go to Luke 17. Start at verse 1. Luke 17, we're gonna start at verse 1.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 17 and verse 1. Then said he unto the disciples.
Because at the end of the day, right, real quick, we got to be long-suffering with each other. So, yeah, we're applying these judgments. But in order to love the brotherhood, we got to deal with each other over and over and over again. That's what really create brotherhood. I don't know no people that I really call my brother in my life that I ain't had no affliction and adversity with in my life. I got to have a little bit of smoke with you and then love you afterwards. That's me. That's been my entire life. It don't mean I hate you because, hey, the friction happened. It might be something on me that's wrong. But you know what? I needed to be checked in that moment. If I don't get checked, how am I going to get right? How am I supposed to get right? If you watching me with doodle on my face, I'm walking into businesses and stuff with doodle on my face, you walking with me. Hey, man, you look good. You ain't my brother. You got to tell me, yo, you look crazy. You got stuff on your face. These are the things that we're supposed to be doing for each other so that we can get our brother right. They're not going to like it all the time, but this is what the Bible says about dealing with one another. Luke 17:1.
It is impossible, but that offenses will come.
What did he say? Read it one more time.
Then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible, but that offenses will come.
So it's impossible for there not to be anybody that offends one another. It's impossible. So if you live your entire life in the truth and you haven't had to apply Matthew 18, Leviticus 19, 17, 18, you probably not right in the spirit. It's impossible for offenses not to come from a brother or sister. So when it comes, don't be surprised. It has to come. Go ahead.
But woe unto him through whom they come.
Go ahead.
It were better for him that a milestone were hanged about his neck, and he cast into the sea, that he shall offend one of these little ones.
Go ahead.
Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him.
That's the same thing we just read in Matthew 18 that we read in Leviticus 19, 17. If your brother sins against you, correct him. Rebuke him. It's impossible that he's not going to do it. But when he does do it, you check him. You say, hey, bro, come over here, man. This is what you did wrong. I got to holler at you. Yeah, it's not going to feel comfortable. But you got to do it. Go ahead.
And if he repent, forgive him.
See what it says? If he changes his behavior, if he repents, if he goes a different direction and now does the thing that he was doing wrong the correct way, forgive him. Go ahead.
And if he trespass against thee 7 times in a day.
Think about that. The brother may be doing the same thing over and over and over again all day. All day. That's going to vex your spirit. You're like, man, he keep making this mistake over and over again. But look at what God said.
And 7 times in a day turn again to thee, saying, I repent, thou shalt forgive him.
You see what the Bible says? Hey, man, I ain't do it on purpose, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get right. I repent. I'm going to change my behavior. Then he correct himself for a little bit, and he do it again. The Bible says you're supposed to forgive him. You ain't supposed to say, man, I'm done with that dude. I don't deal with him no more. Now look what the disciples said, because this is what we all got to really think about. Read.
And the apostles said unto the Lord, increase our faith.
Do what?
Increase our faith.
What it shows you when you can't do that is you lack faith. And all of us need our faith increased. All of us. That's what we got to understand. When you can't deal with your brother over and over again, you lack faith. You lack the ability to see, yo, he's going to get it right. He might repent. He might change. Let me give him a chance to. Let me show him love. Let me not rebuke him and cut him off because he made a mistake. That's what the world taught us to do. So the second a brother do something wrong, yo, I'm done with him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to have no conversation because we haven't been taught how to love the brotherhood. Because we got to look at David, right? This is a good example.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 16 and verse 5. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came unto a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gerah. He came forth and cursed still as he came.
So Benjamin was tripping. Go ahead.
And he cast stones at David.
So he was throwing stones at David. Go ahead.
And at all the servants of King David.
He throwing rocks at all of them. Go ahead.
And all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left.
So he throwing rocks at the mighty men. These men was going through killing people. But he throwing rocks at him. He pissed off. Go ahead.
And thus said Shimei when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial.
He called David the devil. Go ahead.
The Lord had returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned.
Go ahead.
The Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man.
So now he's saying, David, aha, you get what you get. You was wicked and evil. You killed, you took Saul's place. Now you getting what you deserve. Now your son took your place. He talking trash to him when David is at his lowest. Keep reading, watch.
Then said Abishai the son of Zeruiah unto the king, why shall this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head.
Abishai was a killer. He said, let me go cut his head off his body.
And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye son of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord had said unto him, curse David.
Look at what he said.
Who shall...
No, wait. Don't keep reading. Read that part again. So let him curse.
So let him curse, because the Lord had said unto him, curse David.
The Lord said it. The Lord sent that spirit to transgress against you. The Lord sent that spirit to try you. This was David's mindset. That was a level of faith he had. He said, you know what? This is happening because the Lord sent him. Don't go kill him. Don't go cut his head off. He wouldn't be running his mouth like this if the Lord didn't send him. We don't got that mindset. Brother, sister, do something to you. You look at them like, man, you evil. But who is in charge of all the spirits on earth? Who is the one moving and guiding and governing everybody? Who's proving all of us? But we don't look at it like that. We don't say, man, what if the Lord was put me in that situation or it was flipped? Would I want my head cut off my body? No. I'm going to have mercy upon this brother. Because I understand he's angry. He's enraged. Certain things have happened to him. I get it. But who sent him over here to do this to me, to try me when I'm at my lowest and see if I'll have mercy on my brother? The Lord did. Keep reading.
Who shall then say, wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels, seeketh my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him. It may be that the Lord will look on mine affliction, and that the Lord will requite me good for his cursing this day.
See what he said? He said, maybe the Lord will benefit me because I took this chastisement. Because I went through this. Maybe the Lord will see and he'll return me good for the evil that I've been given. Now let's jump to chapter 19, and we're going to read verse 16. Now look. In chapter 19 and verse 16, David regains the kingdom. Let's see what he does.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 19 and verse 16. And Shimei, the son of Gera, a Benjamin, which was of Bahurim, hasted.
You can just skip over that Benjamin word. You ain't got to keep saying that like that. Keep going.
Hasted and came down with the men of Judah to meet King David.
So now he has to come and he has to be before David. Watch what it says.
And there were 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba, the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons, and his 20 servants with him. And they went over Jordan before the king.
Mm-hmm.
And there went over a ferry boat to carry over the king's household.
They had ferry boats back then. See, we were civilized. That's why I'm like, when they tell us we was in Africa with no clothes on, now we have ferry boats. The Israelites had ferry boats. Go ahead.
And to do what he thought good. And Shimei, the son of Gera, fell down before the king as he was come over Jordan, and said unto the king, let not my lord impute iniquity unto me.
So he fell down before David. And he said, let my Lord, right, meaning David, not impute iniquity unto me. Go ahead.
Neither thou remember that which thy servant did perversely the day that my lord the king went out of Jerusalem.
He said, don't charge that to me. Forgive me. He asking for mercy. Let's see what David does. Go ahead.
That the king shall take it to his heart. For thy servant doth know that I have sinned. Therefore, behold, I am come the first this day of all the house of Joseph's to go down to meet my lord the king.
Yep.
But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, answered and said, shall the Shimei be put to death for this, because he cursed the Lord's anointed?
Abishai want to catch a body bad. And it shows you the difference in the spirits. Abishai got the spirit of many of us. Yo, kill him. He ain't right. You don't see what he doing to you? Kill him, get rid of him. You ain't got to deal with this dude like that. Now let's see the spirit of the Lord that was on David. Because David pleased the Lord. That's what we always got to remember. The Lord said, this is a man after my own heart. So let's see how he handled the situation. Go ahead.
And David said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zariah, that ye shall this day be adversaries unto me? Shall there any man be put to death this day in Israel? For do not I know that I am this day king over Israel? Therefore the king said unto Shimei, thou shalt not die. And the king sware unto him.
David had faith. He showed this man mercy. He said, you're not going to die today. You good to go. David understood that the Lord did that thing to him, and it wasn't on this man for this man to be put to death. He didn't have to throw his brother away because of his brother making a poor judgment in that time. You got to think about what that would have done to that man and the level of faith he would have had in the Lord and what it would have done to that man's mindset. Because he could have just killed him right then and there for what he did to him, throwing rocks at him, making fun of him when he had his lowest state. I'm the king now. I could get rid of you. David knocked other people off for less. Nabal ain't want to come out. He said, I'm finna come back and kill Nabal. But with him, when David was humbled and he had mercy upon his brother, David was showing you how to love the brotherhood. Now give me Luke 17 and verse 10. So at the end of the day, we got to all remember this about ourselves. Luke 17 and verse 10.
There's the book of Luke, chapter 17 and verse 10. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all these things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do.
So we have to have this mindset. This is why we will be long-suffering. When we remember that we worth nothing to the Lord. All our righteousness, the scriptures say, is like filthy rags. We took in so long, so much time to get right, and meanwhile we got the ability to look down on somebody else. None of us should be looking down on nobody. We should all be saying, thank the Lord for giving us an opportunity. That's why we got to all look out for each other. Because all of us, everybody online, everybody in the room here with me, we all deserve to be dead. That's what we deserve. So if I could help another brother get what the kingdom that he's supposed to get by just telling him, hey man, just deal with this right. When it comes to your wife, deal with that right. Hey man, look out for this. Handle this a little bit better. Look at this law right here. Why wouldn't I do that? It's because I'm out for myself. It's because I don't love the brotherhood. That's the only reason. 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 1. We jump it through. We're going to read this real quick. Get a few more, then we're going to wrap it up.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass.
Charity goes into loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Read that verse one more time.
Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
Go ahead.
And though I have the gift of prophecy,
even though I know I could prophesy, I could go into Revelation, I could break that thing down. I give you all the breakdowns from Revelation. Go ahead.
And understand all mysteries and all knowledge. And though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing.
So I have all types of faith in this Bible. But the way I deal with people, my love for my brother, I don't really love the brotherhood. He said, I'm nothing if I don't have that. He said, that's more valuable than all my understanding of the Bible. All the faith that I have. Go ahead.
And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give...
This is how you know charity ain't talking about giving your money out. Because he said, though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, go ahead.
And though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profited me nothing.
See? He said, even though I gave everything up, even though I get burned for the people, I sacrifice my body for the people. But if I hate them on the inside, if in my reins, in my heart, I truly don't love the people, then it means nothing. All of that was for nothing. It was in vain. Read.
Charity suffereth long.
Charity do what?
Suffereth long.
It's Luke 17, verses 1 through 5. That's charity. It suffereth long. Go ahead.
And it's kind. Charity envieth not.
Charity is kind. Charity envieth not. It ain't unruly. It ain't trying to have a issue every time. Charity is kind. Charity ain't looking at the next brother saying, can I take your spot? Can I have your house? Can I have your wife? Go ahead.
Charity vaunteth not himself. It's not puffed up.
It don't think of itself better than the man next to him. If a brother has the spirit of charity, he's going to say, you know what? I'm just like this brother. We all got to get right. Go ahead.
Doth not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not her own. It's not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiced in the truth. Beareth all things. Believed all things. Hoped all things. Endured all things.
Read.
Charity never failed, but whether there is prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away.
Jump down now. We're going to jump to verse 13 for the point real quick.
Verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity.
The greatest is what?
Charity.
Brotherhood. Loving your neighbor as you love yourself. How you deal with your people. The greatest of those is how you deal with each other. It's important. 1 John 4:20. We may look at it and say, this is not a big thing, man. This is something small. This is something light. I know them scriptures that we going over. But we got to apply these things. We got to say, do I really got to check? Do I call and check on my brother day in and day out? Yeah, I'm getting breakdowns. I'm studying classes. I'm teaching on the street. I'm doing all these things. But do I love my neighbor like I love myself? Read that.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hated his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he had seen, how can he love God who he had not seen?
One more time from the top.
If a man say, I love God, and he hated his brother.
To hate your brother means what? You don't apply the love with him. You have the law with him, Or the love, yeah, same thing. You don't apply the love or the law with him. You don't, you have hatred in your heart with him. That is hatred. That's hatred. To say, hey, I'm going to have this grudge against this brother. I'm not going to tell him what's right. I'm not going to tell him how to fix himself. I'm not going to apply Leviticus 19:17 with him. You hate your brother. You don't know how to deal with each other. So God is saying, if you have hatred in your heart, read it again.
If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother,
yep,
he is a liar.
He's a what?
A liar.
Go ahead.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he had seen, how can he love God who he had not seen?
We down here with each other all the time, and we're God's people. We're made in God's image. We are the Israelites who carry God's name. How do you love God if you can't deal with the people of God? How? If you can't apply the laws with the people of God, how are you going to deal with the Messiah coming down and his Father coming down on earth? You don't even like dealing with his people who's supposed to be made in his image and carry themselves just like him. You don't like them. We really got to think about that. In the end, we're going to be with each other. So it means that we got to get right with each other. We got to really learn unity. Give me Psalms 133 and verse 1. So at the end of the day, loving the brotherhood is extremely important to the Lord. It's something we got to constantly examine and look at. Because when the Lord looks at it, this is how he feels about it. Psalms 133, and we're going to start at verse 1.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133 and verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
It's pleasant to the Lord for us to dwell in unity. Go ahead.
It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments.
So this ointment could only be made by certain people, by the apothecary. And it was only going to have certain things in it. It had a certain recipe. So God gave you his laws to establish the brotherhood, and then this love that we're supposed to have for each other is like that oil. It's special. It's something that nobody else on the earth can create, because we were the ones that were given a law. So the brotherhood and the unity that we're supposed to have is supposed to be on a whole nother level. But we got to apply the laws. We got to actually love the brotherhood. Ephesians 4 and verse 3. That's the only way we're going to get back to this. And for the Lord, it's a beautiful thing for us to do it. It's like that ointment that was extra special and only could be created by certain individuals. So the love that the Lord wants on the earth can only be created by the Israelites. Read that.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 3. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all.
So the point there is there's one Spirit, and we must roll in it. We must become unified. We must endeavor to keep that unity. Do everything we can to create that unity. Zephaniah 2:1. That's our job. When he said the whole duty of man was to keep the commandments, that came with creating that unity. Go ahead.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff.
So what the Lord is saying to us here is gather together, meaning have unity. Don't just come together physically. Come together as far as you correct each other, as far as your minds. Have no dissension. Have no issues. Erase the fact that they taught you because of age there's going to be division. Because of height there's going to be division. Because of what you have versus what this person has there's going to be division. Erase that all from your mind. Go into my law and find points of unity and gather together upon those things. Correct each other. Whether you be the older man and you see a young man going off, deal with him, correct him, get him right. Whether you be the young man, you see the older man going off, correct him. You be the taller man, the shorter man, the person that's light skin or dark skin. None of that matters with the Lord. If you're an Israelite, what you do is you keep the laws of God and it will create the unity that the Lord wants, that precious unity. So we'll finish up with this. The first script, one of the first scriptures we started with, 1 Peter 2 and verse 17. At the end of the day, what we got to do is we got to love the brotherhood. That's what we got to do. If we love the brotherhood, if we love creating that, we're going to do everything in our power to create it. Whether that be with the brothers just in the body, whether this be in our household, because you may have heard this from just a congregational standpoint or just the brothers, but this applies to how sisters deal with each other. This applies to how you deal with your wife. All of it goes back to us creating unity. All of this starts at home. If you're married, this starts at home. Read that.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 17. Honor all men. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the king.
So at the end of the day, we got to love the brotherhood, right? So with that, we'll say shalom from San Diego. Lord's will, y'all endure, and have a good day.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation